Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We'll just wait for people to join us and let us know where you're joining us from. And I thought we're going to be talking about Easter today. So let us know what you eat at Easter, or if you're eating Easter eggs at the moment. I forgot to buy some, I'm afraid.
And then let's see where we.
Hello. Wait a bit, as usual, just 5 minutes. We'll give 5 minutes for people to join us. Okay. Let us know where you are and let us know what you'll be eating for Easter.
And if you have any strange traditions.
Yeah, I think the only things I can think of that are like British are the thing that we're going to talk about in the webinar and Easter eggs, really.
Yeah. Although I had a tradition when I lived in Italy that, as well as chocolate for Easter, I got my parents as visitors.
Cadbury Easter eggs, cream eggs.
No, not eat cream eggs. Cream eggs are horrible.
Oh, cream eggs are good.
No. My parents used to bring me something over, which was nice. Hello, Maria Teresa.
Hey. Nice to have you back. As you can see, we're going to be talking about Easter. So if you have any Easter eggs in the house, it's time to maybe eat a few.
Do you think there's bad luck if you eat them before?
No,
like if, at Christmas, if you open a present early?
No, you can eat them if you want. Chocolate, pasta, meat, sweets. Sounds like me on a normal day, to be honest. I know in Italy it's very common to eat lamb. Okay, so I'm looking forward to that. Plus, I'm going to Abruzzo, where lamb is the specialty. Okay?
Very nice. I think we've got the length and breadth of Italy, from Milan to
top,
Bari and Reggio.
A few people in Bari. Okay?
South Italy, we eat a lot, don't we?
Oh,
lamb with a type of onion called lampascioni.
That's delicious.
This is very nice.
Roasted lamb, yeah.
Oh, yes, Angela, please do.
Yeah, send recipes. We need recipes, and we will give you one in the chat. Sorry, in the chat in the webinar. We have a thing, and you will get it when you get the handout. Okay.
Yeah, they do have the sugared lambs too in southern Italy.
Sugared lambs? What's that?
With almond paste and some sugar. I remember a student gave me one once for Easter. It was nice.
No, I don't think we have anything in particular. I'm from Australia, and in Australia, I'm not sure if we have any specialties for Easter apart from the normal, the same as British. Oh, pastiera, my favorite cake. Okay. Easter cake for Naples, but available all year round, really, I think. My favorite cake in the world. Another one.
Maria Louisa's favorite too.
It is good. I do like Easter here. Lamb, which is my favorite meat, and pastiera, which is my favorite cake. Okay. Colomba, yeah, the dove-shaped cake. Yeah. Okay.
I forgot about Colomba.
Yeah.
Panzerottini con ricotta.
Oh, wow.
Oh, thank you, Angela.
Okay, we'll give it a couple more minutes and then we'll start. A few more people coming in.
Those onions look very nice.
Paste around a boiled egg.
Ah, they have it in Sicily too. I've also received a gift like that in Sicily, but I cannot remember the name in Sicilian. Ecco, yes.
I don't know if I'm going to make it through this webinar without eating something. I'm trying to think what's around my house.
Thinking that.
If I disappear for a little, you'll know what I'm doing.
Torta pasqualina. Josh, it's probably best not to open the link from Angela.
Yeah, I think I might have to wait till we finish the. I know the chats do get recorded on your computer, so I will be looking at that later, I think. Okay, we'll start in maybe 1 more minute. We'll wait till people are.
Evening, everyone.
Okay, I'm just going to stop my share so I can turn off the music. And we'll get going. Start again. Okay, welcome everyone, and welcome back. And we've got a special Easter themed webinar here. So looking at using Easter in the classroom. Okay. As always, I think, Angela, if you're asking, will we have a handout? Yeah, there will be a handout with all the information and some worksheets as well. Okay. Including all the text, and I got quite a few links there, so you can have a look at other things, some other videos, and things about Easter. Okay, so yeah, there'll certainly be a lot of information there. Okay, as always. Okay. Let's begin then. Okay. Remember that, as always, you'll get a certificate of participation and a webinar handout. That's the email there, so please don't hesitate to email us. Okay. We always get a couple of emails. Someone who has forgotten, we always get back to them very quickly. Okay, so please let us know. Okay? It should come out anyway automatically. Okay. Let me just move on here. Okay, so guys, Easter and its, as we're talking about, its traditions and foods really gives English teachers an opportunity to use something that's common between Italian and English speaking cultures. Obviously there's a lot of varieties as well, but I mean it is something that is shared between the many countries that celebrate Easter. Okay, obviously some of these similarities would be Easter eggs, even though they might look a bit different in different countries, and the Christian origins. I think the differences, as we've been talking about in the chat, local traditions, typical dishes. Okay, we may introduce students to a tradition, you know, something that's a little bit familiar but also slightly different. Okay, please let us know in the chat too that if you've ever done lessons on Easter, what you did. Okay, maybe have you also talked about these other local traditions and things? Let us know what sort of traditions there are about Easter where you are. Okay. I think there's also an opportunity to encourage students to use English to describe their own family traditions and habits. Okay, it's always good. You know, it can be a bit difficult to get students to just talk about their normal day. You know, I get up, I go to school, I come back, I do homework. Okay, giving a special day like Easter, whether it's Easter Sunday or Easter Monday. You know, often they might have a particular tradition they do, or, you know, on Easter Monday, I know a lot of my friends go out to the countryside for the day. If it's a nice day anyway, and then spend a lot of time in traffic on the way back home. You know, it's a good way that they can talk about something that maybe doesn't happen every day. As always, we're going to have some objectives here. So hopefully by the end of this session, you should be able to incorporate traditions and themes of Easter into your English lessons. Prepare activities related to traditional food, and identify and explain some characteristics of a literary text. Okay, we're going to look at something that's connected to Easter, although maybe not connected to so many of the themes, but it is an Easter poem of sorts. Okay. I think we're going to start with this video.
Yep.
So there's a question there: how many chocolate eggs are eaten in the UK at Easter? Make a guess in the chat. There is, in the handout, there is a worksheet that Rebecca's prepared, and there's a lot of questions. I think even quiz in the actual video. Okay, so let's watch this for a short time.
Hi everyone, I'm Gina. After Christmas, the second biggest religious event of the year in the UK is Easter. Even for people who don't celebrate Easter as a religious observance, it is an important time of the year. The date changes every year, but it always coincides with the start of spring. In this lesson, you're going to learn about Easter and how it is celebrated. How many chocolate eggs are eaten in the UK at Easter? We'll show you the answer at the end of this video. At Easter, we give each other eggs. Eggs symbolize the resurrection and new life of Jesus Christ following his crucifixion. When this tradition started, it was bird eggs painted in bright colors that were given. Now, we give chocolate eggs to each other, and especially to children, that often have even more chocolate inside. A popular activity at Easter is to hold an Easter egg hunt. Small eggs are given in an area, usually a garden or public place, such as a school, and then people try to find them. The eggs can be real eggs that have been hard-boiled and painted, or small chocolate eggs. Schools will hold many events and competitions related to Easter, and one of the most famous is the Easter Bonnet Parade. For this, hats are decorated with Easter-related decorations, such as eggs, chicks, and rabbits. There are egg rolling competitions, where hard-boiled eggs are rolled down a slide or a hill, and the egg that travels the furthest without breaking apart wins. Also, there are egg decorating competitions. At Christmas, it is Santa Claus that brings the presents, but at Easter, it is the Easter Bunny that brings the eggs. Chocolate figures in the shape of bunnies are popular gifts at Easter, alongside the traditional eggs. And now I'll give you the answer to the earlier quiz. How many chocolate eggs are eaten in the UK at Easter? Around 80 million eggs are eaten by Brits at Easter. This is particularly impressive for a country that has a population of only 63 million people. How was this lesson? Did you learn something interesting? Do you have any games similar to the ones I spoke about in your country? Leave us a comment at EnglishClass101.com, and we'll see you in the next lesson. Bye.
Okay, yeah, cute little video that we found. A lot of great vocabulary there that you could show your students, and the quiz that we've made, okay, is in the next one. I think Rebecca's going to take over for a moment here, okay, and she's going to be talking about hot cross buns, a typical sweet, I guess, we could say, a snack, maybe.
Yeah, I guess a snack. So, oh, hang on. Gaetano said 200 million eggs. Tiny bit high, Gaetano. But 80 million Easter eggs are eaten in the UK. So a hot cross bun, I like them as a snack, and I don't eat them on the correct day because traditionally they are eaten on Good Friday, the Friday
true, yeah.
before Easter Sunday. Actually, my mum has some downstairs now, so we've been eating them wrongly this year. But it's a spiced sweet bun which has dried fruit in, and it has a cross on the top, which is why it is called a hot cross bun. And all the Commonwealth countries, so the United Kingdom, Ireland, Australia, India, New Zealand, South Africa, Canada, and some other parts of the Americas, including the US.
Yeah, I'm from Australia, and it's I know as soon as the Christmas decorations come down, the hot cross buns end up in the shops. So yeah,
And the Easter egg.
good.
Yeah. So the bun does mark the end of the Christian season of Lent. So where we have the 40 days before Easter, where we give something up that's a nice treat to reward yourself. And different parts of the hot cross bun have a certain meaning. So the cross is obviously the crucifixion of Jesus. The spices inside signify the spices used to embalm Jesus at his burial. And the majority of hot cross buns also include orange peel to reflect the bitterness, the horrible time that he spent on the cross.
Okay, some odd facts about these.
Yes, I got very excited about my research with hot cross buns. So English folklore includes many superstitions surrounding hot cross buns. I am not going to have good luck, because one of them says that buns baked and served on Good Friday will not spoil or grow moldy during the subsequent year. Another encourages keeping such a bun for medicinal purposes. Remember that, Josh, if you're not feeling so well.
Yeah.
So a piece of it given to someone ill is said to help them recover.
Can't do any harm, surely.
No. If taken on a sea voyage, hot cross buns are said to protect against shipwreck. In case anybody wants to go on a cruise this summer, take a hot cross bun. If hung in the kitchen, they are said to protect against fires and ensure that all breads turn out perfectly. And obviously the hanging bun is replaced each year.
Never knew that.
I did. I got very excited finding out all these things. And in 1592, during the reign of Elizabeth I, the London Clerk of Markets issued a decree forbidding the sale of hot cross buns and other spiced breads, except at burials, on Good Friday, or at Christmas. The punishment for transgressing the decree was forfeiture of all the forbidden product to the poor.
No,
not such a bad thing. As a result of this decree, hot cross buns at the time were primarily made in domestic kitchens. Further attempts to suppress the sale of these items took place during the reign of James I of England. They have a long history.
Yeah, I'm sure Cromwell wasn't too happy about it either. I know he banned Christmas. I'm not sure what he did about Easter.
Wow.
So there's an idea there. So you could get your students to research these typical foods and present weird and wonderful facts about it. So again, this is something that isn't just about hot cross buns. It could, not just about Easter. It could be about any food stuff, whether it's something that's British, like, I don't know, haggis. Okay. The Scottish, I don't know what you call it, a dish. Okay. Type of sort of sausage thing. Okay. Or something that you eat yourselves at Easter or at other times of the year. I think it's surprising how many traditions, particularly for a country like Italy. Okay, I know there's thousands of traditions about food. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Shall we play the music? Okay.
Yep.
Okay. There is a typical song about this. Okay. I don't know. Let's play it. Okay.
Hot cross buns, hot cross buns. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns. If you have no daughters, give them to your sons. 1 a penny, 2 a penny, hot cross buns.
Okay, just some idea to tell you this is something that all kids learn, I think, for Easter. So it's something that kids will be learning in classes in England and in Britain and in all English-speaking countries around this time of year. And so something that you could also incorporate into your classes. That is also put in the...
Yeah, I'm just going to get the link now because somebody said they couldn't hear it so well. I did have the link.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
But we'll go into the chat in a moment. Okay. Remember, however, we will give you the worksheet and the handout that has all these links. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Oh, that's not going on. Okay, and Rebecca's also prepared a recipe here. Okay. We won't go through all the recipe, but can you?
No, but can you predict the ingredients? Said there are spices, dried fruit, milk, flour.
Yeah, I mean, you could. To be honest, I would say these are the taste of hot cross buns is not a million miles away from pastiera. Okay. Okay. I would say it's got some of these similar sort of things. The mixed peel. Okay. The sweet. Yeah. Okay. So I would say it's not so different. Okay. Hang on. Okay. I think. Sorry, Rebecca, you can carry on.
No, we included this recipe because we've also got some typical cooking verbs. For example, pour, add, sift, strange one, melt, beat, stir, knead, divide, place, cover, mix, and cook. So you could get your students to research the verbs, perhaps they know them, or maybe they could guess. And the recipe does include cooking abbreviations. So we've got, and you can type in the chat if you think you know.
Let us know in the chat what you think those are. So ML, TSB, TBSB, or GR. Okay. They're not for ingredients, but they're for measurements. Okay. Yep, we have teaspoon. Yep, and tablespoon. Okay. So teaspoon is the little one. Tablespoon is the bigger one. Okay.
Milliliter and gram. Fantastic. Well done, guys.
Great. Okay. Obviously, I believe I'm not much of a baker. I can cook, but I believe baking, it's all about following the ingredients exactly. Okay. Cooking, you can add a bit of variation, but baking, I'm led to believe, precise. Yeah, if you can fail epically, as they say. Okay.
And again, this is a good exercise to expand your students' food and cooking vocabulary, and also looks at ingredients, measurements, and some of the verbs too.
Yeah, I think those verbs would be really useful.
Especially with pizza.
Knead is going to be good. Yep. Okay.
Yep.
Sift, I guess. I've never cooked the dough of a pizza, but yeah. Okay, just moving on. We've got a bit of literature here of the great Irish poet W.B. Yeats. Okay. He was one of the greatest 20th century poets and possibly the greatest ever Irish poet. Okay. I would say he'd be commonly chosen as the greatest. Okay. One of the great things about Yeats, and that's how you pronounce his name, not Yeats. Okay, it's Keats is the English poet, but Yeats is the Irish poet. Okay, one of the great things about him is his development. He started out as a very late Romantic poet and became famous in what they call the Celtic Twilight movement. Okay, which was interested in Irish mythology and mysticism. But then he became a real modern poet and an inspiration and friend of poets like Pound and T.S. Eliot. Right? Although he was part of the Protestant establishment in a predominantly Irish country, Catholic country, that is Ireland, he was always a big supporter of Irish independence. And in fact, in later years, after Ireland did become independent, he became an honorary senator of the Irish Free State. That is the first part of the first version, I think, of the of what we now refer to as the Republic of Ireland. Okay? One of the great things about his poetry is how his life sort of becomes the mythology that he draws on. He was such a public figure, and in certain circles of Republican Ireland and literary Ireland, and Irish literature is one of the great literatures of English-speaking literatures. His friends wrote a lot of books. His friends feature in his poetry, okay, and a lot of them also became historical figures, okay, and that way his sort of his poetry influences events. Okay, one of the key moments of the Irish independence movement is the inspiration for perhaps his greatest poem, that is Easter 1916. Okay, very influential poem, as we'll see later too. Okay. On Easter Monday, April 24th, 1916, there was a revolution, basically. A group of Irish nationalists proclaimed the establishment of the Irish Republic, and some 1,600 followers, they staged a rebellion against the British government in Ireland. Okay? Particularly centred on Dublin, they clashed with British troops, and within the week, the insurrection had been suppressed. More than 2,000 people were dead or injured. Okay? The leaders of the rebellion soon were executed, and this is what this poem's really about. Okay? As punishment, not really during the war, but as people who rebelled against the British rule. Okay. Initially, there wasn't much support for this Easter Rising. A lot of people thought that it was a bit too early, that Britain had promised that at the end of the war they would look at home rule again. But the British made a big mistake when they executed these leaders, because the leaders became martyrs. In 1921, so 5 years later, there was a treaty signed, and in 1922, so 100 years ago, there was the Irish Free State, okay, which is the forerunner of the Republic of Ireland. Okay. Yeats had been a supporter of Irish independence for a long time, but he was very, let's say, ambivalent about violence. Okay. He never really supported it, and he knew a lot of those personally that were involved. In fact, one of them had been married to his muse, a woman that he was in love with. He proposed to many times, and then I believe later in his life he proposed to her daughter, okay, which didn't go well. Okay, but one of the leaders of this Easter Rising had been married to her, and so he was had bad feelings towards him. But you'll see in the poem, one of the greatest political poems of all time, I'd say, Easter 1916, it still manages to evoke martyrdom and rebirth. So in this case, I don't think it's really a coincidence that it's called Easter 1916 rather than something about the rising or whatever. Okay, it does have these sort of themes, even though they're not ones of Easter eggs and chocolate and Easter hot cross buns and things like that. Okay. Anyway, the text is here, but we're going to actually listen to Liam Neeson, okay, the great Irish actor, and he's going to read it for us. Okay. Again, the link is for, we've got the text in the handout, and we've also got the link for this. Okay, I think it's quite a good reading because it's in the Irish accent. Yeah. Okay.
I have met them because they coming with their faces, conjure, grave intensity. I have passed without there, or have lingered a while and said, like, thought that we had learned from Taylor,
It is really low, Josh.
I'm afraid it is low. I think he gets a bit louder.
that woman's days were spent in eating through the wall, her nights in argument until her voice.
Is it too low to hear, or would?
Getting a bit louder.
Okay, we'll go on because I think it gets a bit louder. I'm sorry.
This man had killed a school and both of them had tours. This other, his helper, and friend, was coming into his force. He might have one family, so sensible, so piercing, so daring and sweet. This other man I had trained a drunken, but his love. He had done most bitter wrong to some in my heart. Yet, we were in the song. Until has resigned his part of casual comedy. Until he changed in his turn, transformed, utterly. Hearts with one purpose alone through summer and winter sun, enchanted to a stone to trouble the living stream. The horse that comes from the road, the rider, the birds that range from cloud to tumbling cloud, minute by minute they change. A shadow of cloud on the stream changes minute by minute. A horse hoof slides on the brim, and a horse plushes within it. The long-legged moorhens dive, and hens to moorcocks call, minute by minute they live. The stones in the midst of it. Long a sacrifice that makes them die. Oh, when my head's life. Lives in its blood. I'm apart to the moon that makes me as a mother makes her child. Sleep that mounts the sky always. Is it but mine? No. No, not mine, but death. Was a needless death. For England's mighty faith, for all that was done and said. We know their dream, enough to know they dreamed. And what of excess of love we rule of it to die? I might have heard of the verse. MacDonagh, McBride, and Conway. Now, and in time to be, wherever queens walk, are changed utterly.
Okay, so I'm sorry if you couldn't hear it, but hopefully you can see it. You can hear it in the future, and as I said, it will be in the handout. Okay. Anyway, we'll just go through a little bit about it. In this poem, he starts sort of by reflecting on the occasions he's met these people. This is the leaders of the rebellion. Okay. And said polite, meaningless words. Okay. Suddenly there's a change and these men have left the casual comedy to become tragic figures. Okay? In this second stanza, Yeats refers to his previous impressions of these people, some positive, some negative. Even John McBride, a man who allegedly beat his wife, Yeats' great love, Maud Gonne, is now seen in this tragic light. Okay? He doesn't name them though. Okay, so in the third stanza, he really hits his stride with sort of philosophical, mythical contemplation of how the stone, that is, I think it's sort of a symbol of fanaticism, of this sort of extremism. They're not giving in to the life, okay, and concentrating on one idea. That it troubles the living and active elements of the landscape. So we have ideas of animals, the water going round, okay, taking part in life. Okay, that is sort of like the casual comedy. Okay. In the last stanza, he sort of shows his ambivalence. You know, was the violence justified? Okay. Will England keep its promise to give Ireland more freedom after the Great War is won? I think, like a lot of great poems, this one doesn't really come down on one side of the argument or the other. Okay. The motley referred to, that is the sort of coloured clothing of a court full, has now come into green, that is the colour of Irish independence. It's still one of the colours of the Republic of Ireland's flag. Okay. And the terrible beauty, which is repeated 3 times in the poem, okay, of their sacrifice remains. Here he utters their names, even though he's been resisting it throughout the poem. Okay. I think one of the things about this poem is that it's got a very long afterlife. Okay. It's been echoed in many subsequent poems, okay, with varying success. But I think 2 great poems or 2 great poets that really took it up. One is W.H. Auden, okay. I think born in Yorkshire, where Rebecca is from, okay. And he wrote a poem, September the 1st, 1939, obviously echoing the date in there, and in which he reflects on the outbreak of war in Europe from his new home in New York. Okay? He had recently written a widely praised poem, and still one of his greatest poems, about Yeats's death in memory of W.B. Yeats. So he would have had Yeats very much at the front of his mind, okay, when he wanted to mark this date in history. Okay? Not only the title, but also the tone and even the form of the poem sort of derives from Yeats. Okay? It has these sort of similar stanzas. I think the same number, if I remember. Okay. And then we have Seamus Heaney, who died a couple of years ago, probably the greatest poet since Yeats. Okay. Evokes Easter 1916 in lots of his great poems of the Irish Troubles. Around the 60s and 70s, he wrote a lot of poems around on the topic of what they call the Troubles, okay, which was the IRA bombings and terrorism raids around there. He's from Northern Ireland, and so he saw a lot of it. Okay, one of his great poems is Casualty, in which he recounts his friendship with an alcoholic fisherman who was killed in an IRA bomb. In this, he talks about the circumstances of this man's death, but also his recollections and even experience he had going fishing with him at night. And it really has this sort of similar mix of personal with the political, which I think you can't avoid seeing Yeats in that. In fact, both W.H. Auden and Seamus Heaney wrote essays on Yeats, in fact, with the same title, Yeats as an example. I think Heaney just put a question mark after it to distinguish it. Okay? Anyway, winding up, okay, just to conclude, I hope you've enjoyed our webinar today. Not only young students, but I think older ones will find a lot in lessons on Easter and other festivities. Okay? I mean, it can be a good idea just to ask them to speak or write about what Easter means to me or how my family celebrates Easter. You know, as I was saying at the beginning, it can be even just a different topic. You know, instead of just saying my typical day, okay, why don't they recount a day that's a little bit different? Yeah. Rebecca, do you want to do this one?
Mm-hmm. Other celebrations could also be used in a similar way. So Christmas, New Year's Eve, local festivities. So it
Yeah.
could be an Italian one like Carnival, which obviously happened, or
Yeah, the saints' days in your town, okay,
Yeah.
things like this, okay, or even things from abroad. You could find out how different cultures, how the 4th of July is celebrated in America. Okay, Guy Fawkes Night, always a great one.
yes,
Okay.
or the 23rd of April,
Mhm.
or St. George's Day. Nearly forgot then. Oh,
Because someone's asking you where you're from.
Giuseppina, I'm from Yorkshire in the north of England. I've lost my accent a bit, but
Yeah. No.
I promise.
Anyway, I think also it's quite common in Cambridge speaking exams for the speaking to be for the students to be asked questions about traditions, festivities, how they celebrated last Easter, how they're going to celebrate next holiday. Okay? So I think obviously they don't necessarily need to have specific vocabulary about a British Christmas, but any way of describing traditions and festivities is going to be useful to them. Okay, I think you'll find them quite common, and not to mention in other ones like Trinity exams or other exams where it's quite common to ask about how you celebrate a festivity, okay, in your country. Okay? Just winding up, as always, we'll ask you for some ideas of future webinars.
I'm ready with my pen.
Yep. So put them in the chat now. We will take them on board, and I think quite a few of the ones this year have been based on your ideas. So please let us know. Okay? Anyway, thank you for your attention. Okay, as I said at the beginning, you get a certificate of participation, and there is a handout with worksheets, including that recipe, including the poem. I'm afraid. I'm sorry if you didn't get to hear it correctly, okay, but you know, and it is printed quite clearly there. Okay, there is the link for that video, so you'll be able to watch it yourself. And to be honest, there's a lot of other people reciting them. If you search for it there, you'll hear great recitations on it. Okay, we will have another webinar in 2 weeks. So on Thursday, the 21st of April, we'll be here. Okay. I'm not sure what it's about, but we'll do one then. Okay. And last of all, obviously, I hope you have a great, enjoyable Easter and hopefully a safe one. Okay. So I look forward to eating a lot of chocolate eggs and eating a lot of traditional foods. But I hope you enjoy it with your family. And if you're going away or staying at home, please be safe. Okay.
Have a wonderful Easter, everyone. Eat lots.
Yep.
And enjoy not being at school.
Yeah, enjoy the holidays too. Yeah. Okay, bye everyone. Have a good Easter.
Bye-bye.